today on The Social. Simon Cowell is changing his tune. The former American Idol judge says he regrets the cruel feedback he gave during his time on the singing competition. But did you appreciate the brutal honesty? And being pranked by your in-laws. Why one family joke is ruffling some feathers. We debate whether it's mean to pull one over on your loved ones. Then we're popping off over the fizz and flavor of this budget-conscious bubbly. Hidden gems that prove you don't need to splurge to sip well this season. Plus, how to know when to see your doctor and when to go to the ER. From fevers to allergic reactions to dizziness. Symptoms to look out for before making the call. It all starts now on The Social.
Have a seat. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to The Social. We'd like to welcome to the panel neuroscientist and best-selling author, because, you know, being a neuroscientist is not enough these days. You must also be a best-selling author. Lisa Genova, welcome. All right, everybody. So Simon Cowell, we know him, right? We remember him. He is famous for his very sharp tongue, but the former American Idol judge told the New York Times recently he regrets the cruel feedback that he gave during his time on American Idol. I mean, kind of surprising, but Lisa, do you appreciate his honesty here?
Yeah? I don't know. Are we really calling it honesty? I mean, he said, what did he say? I probably was too harsh. I mean, the probably is a problem. Yeah, no, I think he was, I don't think he's really owning it.
Really?
Yeah, because he's talking about how, well, wouldn't you want someone to tell you if you really couldn't sing? And he wasn't really offering constructive criticism. It was really about the reaction and the ratings, right? It was like getting a big response. I think he shamed people. It was too much.
I know, but he did it so well. If anything, I think, I understand, because, you know, there are lots of things that we do when we're younger, and then you get older and you look back and you're like, yeah, I could have done things differently. I could have worded that differently. And maybe he's had a few contestants say, hey, that criticism that you gave me sent me spiraling and I didn't sing again. Like, I'm sure he's had a lot of those reactions, but let's be real. This show is in, what, season 23? It would not be on the air if not for Simon Cowell.
True.
Right? Because as much as Randy's like, yo, dog, and then there's Paula Abdul giving her cutesiness, everybody, including the audience and the person on stage, was waiting for what Simon had to say. And nothing that anybody else had to say had any weight unless Simon co-signed. So he had a power, and I think also he introduced something to the American televisions that they'd never seen before. That bluntness, that sense of humor. And also, he should be apologizing, really, for bringing, like, Gordon Ramsay and Piers Morgan to our televisions. Because I think because of him, American television was looking for more of that.
They wanted the brash Brit.
Yes, that's what they wanted.
I often think about the impact that that's had, not just on reality television, but also just on us as people. Like, I feel like people are generally meaner about the way that they deliver information. Like, I'm not gonna blame it all on the heels of, like, Simon Cowell, but I listened to this podcast on the weekend and I was struck by, like, who will the real Simon Cowell please stand up? He was so ridiculously nice to the interviewer. And there's one thing about softening with age, but then there's another piece of me that was going, were you just completely being false? Was this whole persona of the mean guy completely disingenuous? And there's something kind of unsettling that you decided, this is the persona I'm gonna take on. Really? I don't care who it impacts. I don't care how it's maybe gonna change the way that people perform or the way that I'm seen. I don't care about any of that because it's gonna make me famous and it's gonna make me money. That's gross.
Have you been to the UK? But wait, sure, but have you been to the UK? Because I felt the same way, but then I went to the UK, and that's very much their sense of style and the way that they talk to people. And then I was like, oh, you guys are a country full of Simon Cowells.
I think, you know, it's a lot to think that he masterminded this whole thing. I think it says much more about the consumers, the viewers of the show. Because why did the show get big? If we didn't like what we saw, we wouldn't have watched it. It's called ratings. So there is a point where we do have to look at the mirror. I will say this. What we have learned about reality television is that boring doesn't get ratings. In fact, the king of so many of the reality shows that a lot of people watch right now, Andy Cohen, he's of course behind the Housewives franchises, he said, and I quote, "Being boring is a fireable offense."
Yeah.
There have been many a housewife that have been fired because he said the storyline was boring, there wasn't enough conflict, there wasn't enough energy putting into it, or they weren't opening up their whole lives to the show. And that's not an Andy Cohen problem. That's a viewer problem. So I think we do have to turn the mirror on ourselves.
Yeah, I get that about boring, but boring doesn't have to mean being mean. And conflict is interesting only in that it allows people to change. And so the conflict itself isn't like what draws us in necessarily, is like looking for the resolution. I'm thinking back to all of those early years when I first started watching the show, with my kids especially, and I actually loved for and was waiting for the moment he was actually really nice to someone. Like that's actually what I remember most, right? Those like, oh my God, this person's so good that he's like in awe and kind to them. So
see, that's funny that you remember that, because I remember one of his best lines, which was, "If this was a Portuguese nightclub, karaoke at 11:30, maybe. But for American Idol," like that's the line I remember.
Honestly, that's so good.
It was so, thank you.
So good.
It's such a good way to start it.
That.
If this was a Portuguese nightclub. Anyway, let's move on. Speaking of having regrets, there's outrage online over a TikTok video of the moment a woman realizes she's been tricked into training for a 10K by her fiance's family. Okay, so the question is, was this mean? What do you guys think?
Oh my God, I mean, this is like right out of Simon Cowell's playbook. Like, this was so mean.
I think even Simon would be like, you guys took it too far.
You can see her face just absolutely be like regret. It's filled with like regret, don't you think? Like, do I want to be a part of this family?
Right, she's not even in the family, and they're like choosing her to pick on, and then she's spent probably hours training for this, like weeks, and
I don't know. I'm gonna try to defend this family. So listen, you know this because I've learned this from you. We all have love languages.
Yes.
And there are families that express their love and affection for one another and people they love in different ways. I know families that board games is their love language, or competition. There are, families that set up like tennis competitions among themselves. Are you a monster? But there's a love language. I think this family pulls pranks on each other all the time because that's their love language. So she should feel honored that they are welcoming her in.
Oh my God, people like this.
Because if they didn't like her, she's engaged to the son. If they didn't like her, they wouldn't waste the time on making those cute
You know what? You do have a point. No, you were going to say something?
but a prank that doesn't require her to train
I
for
don't
like
think she trained. It's a turkey trot.
She might have.
After Thanksgiving, you go for a little
No,
jog.
no, the person who's done a couple 10Ks, you can't just head out onto the road and do a 10K. You do have to
She's
train.
fine. She's young.
No, you know what? I think, to me, first of all, I feel like the punchline is, oh, she trusted you. And I'm like, I don't understand how that's funny. And the look on her face, the part that makes me uncomfortable is, okay, so this is your love language and you guys pulled this prank. Look at her face. No one in that family looked at her and said, oh, wow, we made a mistake. She's not finding this funny. Everybody was like, come on, this is funny, right? This is funny. Yeah. And then she was like, later on in the video, she's like, I'm so glad that it's over.
This is the gentlest initiation
and I feel like there's a moral where it's like, okay, this may be what you guys are used to because you've known each other from day one, you grew up in the same household, but you also remember to a person who's coming in who's very eager to like please and fit in, that you have to meet them where they're at. And if you paid attention to her personality, you would probably come up with the idea that this is not going to be funny to her. Let's pick on somebody else. Let's go for the uncle. He'll find it funny. And so the whole thing, if I were her on my way home, I'd be so quiet because I'd be like, I don't think this is the guy for me.
I say only, not only the fiance, but she still has time to rethink joining this family.
Yeah, I'd be out.
So let's take a break, everybody. Coming up next, new research finds that our brains are in adolescence until our early 30s. have a neuroscientist on the panel, and we're going to discuss, at what age did you feel like an adult after this?
Tomorrow on The Social, beauty lovers rejoice. It's gift set season, and there's something for everyone in these fab finds from Carly Ostroff. This week on The Social, 'tis the season to turn heads. Holiday fashion that's merry and bright at the right price with stylist Erica Wark.
Everybody, we are back. If you are screaming at your television set right now or your phone, don't just leave it there. Get us on social media. We want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, according to a new study from the University of Cambridge, the brain stays in its adolescent phase, up until we're approximately 32. And after that, it rewires into adulthood. So Lisa, you are a neuroscientist.
I am.
Talk about what is your reaction to this?
So this is a new study. It's one study. So I always tell folks, when you come across scientific information, what's the source? Is it a chiropractor? No. Is it an influencer? No. But this is a legit study, and it's one, so it needs to be repeated. But yeah, it's, we've had the data has shown historically that we think it was like 25 when the brain fully developed, and now it's extended out to 32 is what we think it is. And so what does that mean? It means that the most newly evolved part of your brain, especially your prefrontal cortex, that's the part of your brain that's responsible for decision-making, problem-solving, controlling impulses, isn't fully at its best, we think, until you're about 32.
That explains all the shopping sprees at 28. I get it.
Shopping sprees?
Yes, impulse control. I had problems. But is there a point where any of you felt like, yes, this tracks with my life? Like 32, yeah, that's when I hit it.
I feel like I came in stages. The first one was when I felt like I was financially independent from my parents, which was probably in my early 20s. The second was I had an awareness around 25 as well. I'm gonna die one day. That was like a real wake-up moment. And then the third was right after giving birth, and I remember Jason and I were looking at each other, and we were told, you can go. And we were just like, you're gonna let us go out of this place
with baby? I had the same feeling.
Yeah.
Right? I love the way you're questioning that. It's like, what? Nobody's coming with us?
It was amazing that there wasn't somebody who's like, you need to pass a test before you leave this hospital.
No.
Like, I honestly believe that.
Yeah.
We have zero credentials to be doing this. For me, it wasn't just having a child that made me feel like an adult. I will say it was having a child and becoming a working mom at the same time. There was something that shifted where I went, I'm supposed to do all of this? I was like, this is adulting, and how the heck did my mom do this? That was number one. The second thing that I did, and this is not a humble brag, when I got to a point in my career that I thought I could give back, I wanted to be able to give back. And in 2021, I created a scholarship at my university, my alma mater. And I never thought I would ever be able to do that. And why I wanted to do that was because I was able to go to university because of someone else's generosity. And I always said, if I could give back, so I have the Melissa Grelo Entrance Scholarship for Black and Indigenous Excellence at York University.
Really?
So check it out.
Well, I think if you are the oldest daughter in a family, the answer to this question is when you felt like as an adult was when your sibling was born. Because in my household, it was as soon as my sister was born, there's a 9-year age gap. As soon as she was born, I was turned into a co-parent, not a sibling. I was expected to help. I was doing my own laundry.
What's the age difference?
9 years. That's what I said. It's a 9-year age difference, right?
Okay.
So by the time I'm 10, I'm helping with everything. Warming bottles, I'm washing, I'm doing laundry, I'm getting the food ready. At one point, I was actually taking my sister to school and dropping her off before I went to school, and that was in junior high.
Wow.
And there was very little room for error, I felt like, growing up. There wasn't like a lot of wiggle room. I don't ever my parents saying to me, oh, she's just a teenager, let her make mistakes. It was like, no, you have to help, you have to help, you have to help your sister, you gotta help me do this. So I feel like there's a group of us who are like, oh, 32 must be nice.
All right.
For me, it was around 12.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. All right, so let's move on to our next one. According to GQ, the hottest piece of jewelry a man can wear is a pinky ring. They say these tiny accessories seen here on both, wow, it's dividing the crowd, as seen on both A$AP Rocky and Jacob Elordi are meaningful and not too much overpowering and suggest a certain type of gentleman. So yay or nay on the pinky ring? Yay or nay, yay or nay, yay or... Okay.
Does it say gentleman or does it say like mob boss?
Right?
Because there is something that is always like very bad boy about that to me, and I don't know if it's just in my head, if it's like Harvard, secret society, fraternity, wear the ring with the special picture on it, and that's, I don't know why I'm talking with an accent like that. It's just like, there's something secret society about it, but for me, when I date, I like a man with really great hands that tells me he works, so that and a pinky ring don't go.
Okay, what about you, Lisa? What do you think?
Oh, hell no.
You don't like it?
No. And what's really funny is in that book that is sitting right
We're
there.
gonna talk about this.
So this character, the book ends with her doing what would be the equivalent of a 5-minute set. She's an aspiring comedian, and there's a bit on how much she hates pinky rings, which kind of came from me. So.
Really? See, I think it depends on the essence of the man. Like, I have a few men, like Steve Harvey, the way that he dresses, if I saw him in a pinky ring, it wouldn't bother me, right? Lenny Kravitz in a pinky ring, are we really unbothered? We're not kicking him out of bed because of the pinky ring. And Coleman Domingo, you know, the actor who's always really well dressed? Yeah, there's Lenny.
Lenny can wear anything.
Coleman, listen, he has a pinky ring on. There's certain men.
Huge, too.
Whereas like a Steve Carell, maybe not so much with the pinky ring, right? I think it just depends on the man. So I like it.
I agree.
Lisa, you were mentioning your book, and you were here a little while ago for your latest book called More or Less Maddie, and it's all a story about a young woman's journey with bipolar disorder. And your fans also know, of course, your previous work, Still Alice. It was like Still Alice. It was adapted for the big screen with Julianne Moore in the title role. So that was so huge. So More or Less Maddie is in development to also become a film, which is massive. Can you talk to us about the casting or what the process is like?
Well, so I'm not in charge of casting, but they'll run things by me or ask for wish lists. So this is already cast. Yeah, we know who plays Maddie, and I still can't tell you yet.
Can't give us a hint?
A-list, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. You all know who she is.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's young. Maddie in the book is 21 years old. The actress is about that exact same.
Can we guess?
Exciting.
You could guess.
Sydney Sweeney.
Oh.
Okay.
She's got a good poker face.
Yeah.
When is it going to be coming out-ish? Do we know?
Oh, no, I don't know that
You don't
yet.
know that yet.
No.
Okay.
The one that I know, we're filming Every Note Played in June, and you will know that whole cast as well. But no, like, so with Still Alice, that's the only one where the actress that I wanted was the one that got cast. So back in 2011, I wrote in a notebook, Julianne Moore for Still Alice. And anyone who asked me, who do you want? I said, Julianne Moore.
Good
and
choice.
it happened.
Well, Lisa, so exciting. Thank you for joining us today, and congratulations on all the success. Really.
Thank you.
Really.
It's been really fun.
Okay, audience, it is called More or Less Maddie, and guess what? You get your copy today. That's so cool. On the other side of the break, we've got budget-conscious sparkling wine coming at you next. We'll be back.
Often call for a toast with champagne, but have you ever considered sparkling wine instead?
Well, our next guest has budget-conscious sparkling wine recommendations to save us money while not compromising on taste. Please welcome back to the show, sommelier Beverly Crandon. Good to see you, Beverly.
Good to see you guys again.
Season's greetings.
Yes.
Okay, Beverly, what is the technical difference between champagne and sparkling wine?
You know what? That's a great question because oftentimes people try to entice me to come to their parties. They're like, we're gonna have champagne, it's gonna be so good, Beverly. And I show up, I'm like, that's not champagne. That's just sparkling wine. In order for you to call something champagne, it has to come from Champagne, France, right? Because they come through like strict quality and winemaking needs that for you to put champagne on the bottle. So you can't just put sparkling wine in a glass and call it champagne. It's a very big difference in how it's made.
All right, I did not know that. All right, well, let's get drinking. The first up, we have a Sanfeletto DOCG Prosecco. So explain what that means.
Yeah, absolutely. So this Prosecco is quite lovely. It is a DOCG, so it means higher quality.
Okay.
The family is Sanfeletto family. It's a multi-generational winemaking family. What I love about this particular Prosecco, because it's a DOCG, is that it hits you on so many parts of your palate in terms of flavor and texture. So you're getting green apple, you're getting pear on the nose, some white flowers, and then that eerie feel from the bubbles on the palate makes this a wonderful wine. For someone who likes like a lighter Prosecco, but they don't want to compromise on the complexity
Yes,
of the wine.
it's very
that's
bright.
lovely. That's very
That's
good.
so good. You actually say we should specifically look for the DOCG on the label. What is
I
that?
do.
Why is that?
What does that mean?
I do. So when you're buying Prosecco, you'll see it either say DOC or DOCG. DOCG just means it's guaranteed quality. For you to put DOCG on your Prosecco, it means the grapes come from a finite area of northeastern Italy. And it also means that the grapes come from an area that has high elevation, so it's better quality. It's all handpicked. So unless you know a lot about Prosecco, when you're in your store, just go with the DOCG and get rid of the guesswork.
That's
Okay,
great.
good
Great.
advice. All right. So is Prosecco made of a specific way, Beverly?
It is, and that's really important, right? So you have two main ways that you'll make sparkling wine. One is the way that champagne is made, so a traditional method. But the way Prosecco is made, it's a method called Charmat method. So second fermentation, the part that gives it the bubbles, happens in a large pressurized tank. And so I'm able to produce like a higher volume, it's faster. It takes 4 months maybe to produce Prosecco versus years for your champagne.
Okay,
Let's talk
good to know.
about price point for this.
$25.
Okay,
And I'm telling you, it's
that's a lot
really
cheaper
good.
than champaign.
Did you see
Right?
the way our cheap faces lit up? We're like, oh, $25. We like that.
Really good. It's really good.
Everybody's getting one of those.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you're joking. No.
No.
All right, now we have our second wine. This time it's from Spain. So
Yeah.
why did you want to emphasize not that this is not a cava? What
So
does
you
that
have some
mean?
Spain lovers in here. Exactly. When people think sparkling wine from Spain, they think cava. But this is a corponat. This is from Mascandi. It's their corponat. What they're telling you here is that
drink?
it's a sparkling wine, but the rules and regulations in order for you to put corponat on the label are far more stricter. When I look at rules and regulations for sparkling wine making, corponat is very close to some of the rules that you see in champagne. So it gives you a sense in terms of the quality that you're going to get here.
Okay. I feel like we should, you know what I mean?
Yeah?
Oh, sorry. Where are we at here?
We're right there.
Well, I feel like you just answered this, but you say corponat is very closely to champagne.
It is. So second fermentation for this happens in the bottle. So with Prosecco, it happened in a large tank. Here, it's individual bottle. And that's why you see champagne cost so much, because sometimes the producer will do second fermentation in bottle for like 5 years. So imagine I've harvested my grapes in 2020, but I can't monetize it for 5 years. That all goes into the price. But that is how corponat is even made. And it's outside of France. And this, with this high quality, only $38.
Oh, great. Amazing.
We like that.
Okay, great.
Okay, so now you're taking us to France with
Yeah.
a crémant. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Very good.
Je parle un peu de français, excusez-moi. So describe this one while we taste it.
Yeah, so this is from a family called J.J. Vincent. It's the Crémant de Bourgogne, so from Burgundy. This family they've been making wine in Burgundy
Ooh, I
since
like this one.
1862,
Yeah. Oh,
so you
yeah.
know it's coming from Providence. Listen, if something says Crémant and it's from France, what they're telling you is that this is a sparkling wine made the same way champagne is made, but just outside. I call it Crémant champagne's French cousin is what this is. So second fermentation in bottle. What I love about this, so it's made from Chardonnay.
Okay.
And so I find Chardonnay just lends itself so nicely to sparkling wine. So I'm getting like big apple, brioche on here, but a long, lovely integrated finish on this wine.
All right.
Fantastic.
And talk to us about the price. ¿Cuánto cuesta? How much?
This one, depending on region, is about $35 to $40. And again, made the same way champagne is made and
Okay,
gorgeous.
but worth it, right? That's
Yes.
not bad.
That works.
Yes.
Okay, last but not least, you're taking us back home with wine, sparkling from Ontario,
Yes.
Canada. Of course, this is the yes. This is the Crémant de Jourdain. What is the difference between a French Crémant, the one that we just tried,
Right.
and this Ontario wine?
So it's regulated in France to put Crémant on the bottle. It's not regulated here in Ontario, Canada. But what's fun with this Crémant de Jourdain, what they're trying to tell you is that this is a sparkling wine made the same way that your Crémants are made, so traditional method. I love this new release from these guys.
sweetness.
We talked about wines aging in bottle for second fermentation. This one has aged for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And what happens when it goes through second fermentation for so long, it just rounds out the mouthfeel. This is a gorgeous sparkling wine on the palate, and the same aging potential as some of your champagnes.
All right, so it's aged for 3 years. Is that in the price? Like, how much does this one cost?
This one is $55. But you're right, so it aged for longer.
I knew it. I knew
it's
it.
55.
I was like, the
But
longer the
it's
age, the
very
higher the
lovely.
price. All right, so how much would one expect to pay for a bottle of champagne?
For those large labels, you're looking anywhere between $80 to $120. So everything I've talked to you about today, way less than that, but gorgeous.
Yeah.
Okay, Beverly,
impact.
thank you so much for
Yes,
these budget
cheers.
conscious sparkling wine recommendations. So good. Up next, a helpful guide on how to know when to visit the ER and when to get other forms of care. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right, we're back, everybody. So across Canada, emergency departments are experiencing some of the longest wait times we have ever seen. Last year alone, Canadians made more than 16 million ER visits. And for patients who needed admission, many waited over 24 hours in the ER before they got a hospital bed.
And to help us understand when to head to the ER and when other care might be better, we're joined by the doctors behind the Doc Talk podcast, emergency physician Dr. Shazma Mithani and family physician Dr. Sheila Wajaya-Singh. Welcome back to the Social Ladies. Love the matching outfits.
Love.
All right, so Dr. Mithani, as you can hear from the audience, I think a lot of Canadians have experienced long wait times in ER. So tell us, nationally, what's the situation like? Is it getting better or worse?
There are very long wait times around the country, and unfortunately, because of the viral season that we're starting to come upon now with influenza and COVID, those wait times are just getting longer. And so we're seeing sometimes in excess of 8 to 12 hours for wait times. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, of course, if you have a severe medical condition, which we're going to talk about today, you'll get in faster, but we are still seeing pretty long wait times right now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, so you just mentioned it. I mean, there are very obvious emergencies I think a lot of us can think of, but other times it's not always clear exactly when we should or should not go to the ER or wait to see our family doctor instead, which could be also a wait. So what is the rule of thumb, Dr. Sheila, to go or not go?
Yeah, so it's tricky sometimes to know if you should or not, especially with the wait times for family doctors as well. But the rule of thumb that I suggest to my patients is if waiting is a risk to your health. So if you wait longer to see a doctor, is it going to be harmful to you and cause potentially irreversible harm? And so those things are kind of obvious sometimes, but not always. But the things that we suggest are things like chest pain, abdominal pain that's very severe, heavy bleeding, severe infection. Those kinds of things should go to the emergency room so you can get those investigations on the same day and get treatment. The things that we do really well in primary care are things like bladder infections, mild infections, rashes, medication refills. Those are the things that should not be going to the emergency room. That's very well managed by us.
Got it.
All right, so Dr. Mithani, there are also long wait lines for diagnostic testing, and I understand that some people try to go to the ER to fast track that. Is that what the ER is for, and is that a good idea?
No. So like the answer to both is no. I absolutely understand how it's challenging to have to wait long for your diagnostic tests that your family doctor orders, but the ER is actually quite limited in terms of what we can offer for things like imaging or blood work. Yeah. And we're often restricted in what we can order those things for. And so trying to come to the ER just to get that test faster is not going to be the most effective use of care or effective use of resources.
Okay, that's hard, but we understand. It's true.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, since COVID and beyond and since, virtual care is something that has been really normalized. It's really accessible and widespread now. So when is telemedicine a better option than maybe going to see somebody in person?
Yeah, this is a silver lining of the pandemic is that there's just so much that we can do virtually. So mental health checks, med refills, sort of mild things can be managed very well virtually, but I still need to see you, Shaz still needs to see you if you're having some of those more serious things like chest pain, abdominal pain. We need to actually be able to do an examination and investigate you. So virtual care is excellent. It's an excellent triage tool to help us understand if you need to be seen or not, but it's not for everything.
All right, good to know. All right, so Dr. Mithani, you're also a pediatric emergency doctor, and I know parents want to do everything to take care of their children and protect them. So how should they decide when to take their kids to the ER?
So this is something I see a lot with worried parents coming in, and this is kind of part of the discharge instructions that I give them when to come back. So any child under the age of 3 months old or that is immunocompromised in any way that has a fever absolutely needs to come in. Okay. If there are breathing issues that are getting worse or you're worried about, absolutely need to come in as well. Any signs of severe dehydration or your child is not taking enough fluids in, is vomiting so much they can't keep fluids down, absolutely another reason to come in as well. And then, I always say, if something doesn't feel right for you as a parent, so if your child is sleepier than usual, more irritable, like they're crying and you can't console them, or something in your spidey senses just isn't quite there, please come in and see us.
All right, good advice. All right, so Dr. Sheila, how does preventative medicine play a role in these long wait ER times?
It's so important. This is the role of a family doctor and why it's important to really safeguard our public healthcare system. Over 6 million Canadians do not have a family doctor. And we know that if you have a family doctor, you have a lower incidence of going into the emergency room because we're doing that preventative care. So we're checking your blood pressure before it gets really high and causes a heart attack or a stroke. We're doing the cancer screening before you end up seeing Shaz for an end-stage cancer in the emergency room. So there's so much that we can do as family doctors, nurse practitioners, and we really need to do that in primary care and safeguard that for our whole healthcare system.
Yes. God save the family doctors.
So true.
Okay. Dr. Sheila and Dr. Shazma, before you go, we are going to go through some different medical scenarios. We all have paddles, which say ER or no ER, and we're going to try to guess if the scenario warrants a trip to the ER or not. Okay, so here we all get it, right? We get it.
Ready?
First scenario, you have a persistent headache lasting for 3 days.
Oh, ER not.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
ER.
The docs say ER.
Really? Okay, why?
With some caveats, but for me as an ER doctor, I'm not going to be fussed about seeing someone that has a severe headache for that many days, because even if it's a migraine, I want to be able to offer IV medications to help improve that pain. We worry about things that are more serious potentially, like a severe infection, a bleed in the brain, or like a tumor, things like that, especially if it's not a headache that you've had before. We want to see you for that.
Okay, good to know. All right, so here's our next scenario. You have a severe allergic reaction that was improved after using an EpiPen. Should you head to the ER or no ER? What do you guys think? No ER? No, I'm saying ER.
Right
here.
Yeah.
ER.
ER.
Yeah.
All right.
And so the reason behind that is certainly it's great that you're feeling better after you've had the EpiPen given. However, you can actually, as it wears off, you can have another reaction, and we need to monitor you. So a severe allergic reaction needs to go to the emerge, even if you're responding.
Okay, good to know.
Good to know. Okay, next scenario. I'm 1 for 2 here.
Okay, no, me too.
Okay, you're experiencing dizziness when you turn your head.
Okay, wait. This is a trick.
I don't know.
Dizziness when you turn your head. No. I feel like this is
I don't know.
911.
No ER. Okay, what's going on?
So with dizziness when you turn your head, typically it's from benign vertigo, so because the stones in your inner ear are what's off, but with some caveats as well. So if it's like brand new dizziness, you have risk factors for stroke like high blood pressure, high cholesterol if you've had a stroke before. If you're so off balance when you're walking, like things like that we would call red flags, that should come to the ER.
Okay.
But more basic vertigo, just when you're turning your head, definitely can be seen by someone like Dr. Sheila.
Go to your doctor. Okay, got it. Last scenario, you're 1 month old, is experiencing a fever.
Goes without saying.
They were up with the one, okay.
I'm not even a parent to know the answer to this question.
Right?
It's ER, right?
Yeah.
ER, okay.
So you were listening before to what Shaz was saying. So any baby under the age of 3 months does need to get checked out because we worry about sepsis. So very severe infection needs to see the ER directly beyond the family doctor.
All right, well, Dr. Mathani, Dr. Sheila, thank you guys so much for being here and giving us very important information. Up next, evidence-based ideas on how to level the playing field between men and women at home and at work. You definitely don't want to miss that. Stay right there. We'll be right back. I like the way the audience is like, oh.
Welcome back. Many women today are trying to have it all, but it can often feel impossible with life's constant demands just coming out our way.
Yeah, our next guest is a Wharton School professor whose new book, Having It All, uses data to prove that biologically, culturally, and economically, men and women are in fact on uneven playing ground. So fortunately, yeah, I know. But fortunately, she also has evidence-based ideas about how to change that. So please welcome to the show, author Corinne Low. Welcome. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I'm obsessed with this book. I'm sending it to every woman I know and their male partners.
Yes.
The catalyst for this book was back in 2017. So you talk about this in the book, that after you gave birth to your son, and as you describe it, who's adorable, you also had a midlife crisis. You said your life became increasingly intolerable. Tell us about the huge realization at that time when you had your son.
Well, I had been studying these issues as an economist my entire career, and then I found myself smack dab in the middle of it, where everything that worked before I had a baby stopped working. I had a 2.5-hour commute. I was the breadwinner and I was carrying the load at home, I felt like I was falling behind my colleagues who were all men at work. And the worst point came when I was on a delayed train and find myself pumping in the Amtrak bathroom because I'm gonna miss bedtime. And I'm like crying, thinking, I don't have it all. I don't have anything.
Yes. Oh my God. So it's so like it's a dramatic story, but it's so relatable on so many levels. Yeah. I think a lot of people look at relationships today and think, oh, it's so much better than it used to be. We've come so far. Men do so much more. But ultimately, the research shows a different story. Talk about that.
Yeah. So things have changed for women. Women are doing a lot more at work, but they haven't changed as much for men as you would think. Men actually do the same amount of housework in hours as they did in the 1970s. And then the one place where men do more is parenting time, but that's because parenting has exploded for all of us. So since the 1990s, parenting time has doubled, but for men, that's from 2 to 4 hours a week, and for women, that's from 7 to 14 hours a week. So the gender gap has actually gotten wider.
Okay, I mean, listen, I'm exhausted listening to this. But where does women's happiness fit into this? Are we happier?
So it's ironic because it's almost like as we've gotten more equality, what we've seen is that women's happiness has been cratering. And I think the reason for that is that we're just getting so squeezed in terms of our time from all directions. And then at work, we're comparing ourselves to our male colleagues and we're like, I know I can do what you do. That's where I was like, I know that I can be as good as you, but we're coming to the table with half a deck of cards because we don't have the same support at home. And then at home, we're comparing ourselves to moms of the past who were not doing intensive parenting, right? My bedtime routine in the 1980s was go to bed, okay?
Yes, that's true. It's so true. Let's talk about some ways we can improve things. You suggest, and I love this, that we get more than we give at work. How do we do that?
So I want us to reframe because I think the lean-in girl boss era kind of told us to think about our careers as the purpose of our lives. But when I tell people, close your eyes and picture you have $1 billion, money is no object, what would your life look like? Nobody says, well, I would be working 60 hours a week because it's just so fulfilling, right? People talk about friends and family. So we should think of our jobs as of our careers as a machine that you put time into and you get money out of, okay? And if you have to put all of your time into that machine and you only get a little bit of money out, your machine is broken and you need to upgrade it. So when we're leaning in and when we're making investments, what you're thinking about is you are upgrading your money machine so you can put less time in and get more money out because your work should work for you, for your life, rather than you just living to work.
Okay. I do feel like we're a bit lucky because we do have very supportive partners at home who do share a lot of the load. But you say that this is actually such an important thing. The partner that we choose has a huge impact on our overall happiness. And you say that we should all make sure that we're investing in the right person. How does that work?
So I think we interview for the wrong position. I think we interview for the position of boyfriend when what we need is a co-CEO of the household. Ooh. So we go for who's cute, but no one is cute when you're cleaning their toothpaste off the bathroom sink. So instead of just asking what kind of movies do you like, we need to be asking who does your laundry? What do you like to cook for dinner? What was the last piece of furniture you ordered? And do you have a good dentist recommendation? Because you're gonna find out the last person who made him a dentist appointment was his mother, and he's waiting for you to be the next one to make him one.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Speed dating just got a whole lot more interesting, didn't it? Okay, so what do you suggest women do if they feel like, and a lot of women do, feel like they are absolutely drowning and they are simply doing too much, especially in their relationship?
Yes, you've got to reallocate things, and I think there's a win-win because, most men, they do want to help. They even say they want to do half, but I describe home production, what we do in the household, as like an iceberg. So there's the tip of the iceberg, and they're dividing that. That's what they see. But there's this whole invisible piece of the iceberg beneath the surface. So and so I actually tell couples to track their time to show that, when he goes to work, it's work, 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 work. But when she goes to work, it's work, work, call the pediatrician, text the teenager, confirm pickup, order groceries during the Zoom meeting, right? And then you can start to reallocate it. And I don't mean that we're gonna delegate things to a low-level junior employee, okay? You're gonna say, honey, you're getting a promotion. You're moving into senior management, okay?
Can I jump in quickly? Yeah. First of of all, men would love that.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, quickly, this is a sidebar. Barack Obama and Michelle Obama just talked about this, that he followed her for an entire day, writing down everything that she did in a day.
I love it.
And he said he was stunned by how much stuff she did that he had no idea
no
she
idea.
did. Anyway.
And you can't
Anyway.
divide it if it's invisible.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway.
let's talk about some other changes that people can do to start to implement now to increase our overall happiness.
We've got to claw back our time and prioritize what matters. So one of those strategies is outsourcing. And before you yell at me, I want everyone to note that everybody watching takes their car to the mechanic to get the oil changed, but yet we think that getting help with groceries or laundry or cooking is an unaffordable luxury because we're used to devaluing women's time and placing value on men's time. But also, it's gonna mean just letting go of some things, and that's so relevant when we get into the holidays that women spend so much time and energy making magic for everyone, but the truth is your kids would rather have you be calm and present because you put your own oxygen mask first than be at every event and have everything be hand-decorated birthday cupcakes and, you know, have all that razzle-dazzle. So we've got to let some stuff go.
Cancel the elf on the shelf is what you're hearing.
Yes!
Yes! That's on women, too.
Yes!
Anyway, that's on women.
Okay, lastly, and you just kind of hinted at this, a lot of people might be listening to this saying, this is a privileged woman's conversation. So what do you say to those people?
I just want to emphasize the book is for everyone. It has strategies no matter what your socioeconomic situation is. And one of those strategies is about leveling up at work. So you are going to get more pay, you know, for the work that you do. And that's going to help, you know, with that tight budget. But I also want to say, even if you really can't afford to outsource or some of those other strategies don't work for you, one of my favorite games to play is I'll clean your house. You go over to a girlfriend's house, drink a glass of wine, your kids play together because play dates are childcare, you clean her house, and then tomorrow night she comes over and cleans yours.
Oh my God, I love this.
I have a better idea. Moms go out and dads clean.
Yeah, they play that game. Yeah,
Also.
I love it.
Corinne, this was just the tip of the iceberg. Truly. It was just really the tip of the iceberg. This has been an eye-opening conversation. I want everyone to read this book. So, having it all, it is available now. It is for everyone. It is not just a woman's book. Yes. I want to say that again. Audience members, women and men, and everyone in between, you're going home with your signed copy today. Oh, it's so good. We'll be right back after this. All right, everybody, tomorrow on The Social, we've got beauty gift sets that'll get you the most bang for your buck and impress everybody on your list. We love a good set, don't we? Also, a look back at the most noteworthy stories in music from the year that was 2025. Can you believe we're almost at the end of the year? I can't believe that. Yeah. Listen, if you missed the show, remember that you can find us on Crave. You can find us on YouTube. We've got a channel. We also have a podcast on the iHeartRadio app as well. And social media, of course. The conversation ends now here, but you can always converse with us online. Thank you for coming. You were lovely. Absolutely lovely. Thank you for tuning in. See you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye-bye.